If you've watched SML for long enough, it's easy to reduce Cody and Ken to a running joke. The weird kid, the dull boyfriend, the gag everyone yells about. But I actually think the whole thing actually goes a lot deeper than you might expect. In this video, I will try to answer the question, what if Cody had never met Ken? But for that, we first need to answer the question, what hole did Ken fill that nothing else ever did? Because if you remove Ken from Cody's story, you don't just delete a gag, you essentially change what Cody becomes. In his first appearances, Cody is an outsider. He's smart, awkward, openly strange, medically fragile, and socially isolated. Junior and Joseph tolerate him at first, more out of pity than friendship. He's the kid who gets laughed at, the smart kid with a lot of knowledge about the world but with no social power inside it. Then you stack his home life on top of that. Judith and Tyrone aren't the kind parents who create calm. Cody grows up in a household that looks functional on the surface but is deeply unstable underneath. The marriage of his parents is chaotic, performative, and emotionally inconsistent. Judith is sometimes affectionate, but it's inconsistent, overbearing, and often controlling. She babies him and makes love feel like something performed at him instead of something that actually understands him. Tyrone adds a different instability. Sometimes he's present, sometimes he's strict, sometimes he's emotionally unsafe in the way that makes a kid scan the room for signs of what version of their parent they are getting today. And their marriage across this series never feels like a steady love. It's cheating, arguments, breakups, getting back together, and Cody growing up inside that mess. Now, add one more thing on top of all of that. Cody is gay, and particularly during his first appearances, Cody is just a gay kid growing up with no reference point for what that even means, and mugged because he is homosexual. He doesn't know other gay kids, he doesn't have a supportive adult to talk to, he doesn't even really have language for it at first. All he knows is that he is different in a way that gets him mugged, punished, or ignored. Cody meets his first Ken doll in Bowser Jr.'s summer vacation, and the timing matters. School is over, he's been bullied, dismissed, and treated like an accessory all year. Then suddenly, in a toy store, surrounded by objects designed to be whatever you want them to be, Cody picks up Ken, and for the first time, Cody chooses something that can't reject him. Ken doesn't laugh at him, Ken doesn't call him weird, Ken doesn't argue, Ken doesn't leave. Ken is just a piece of plastic but feels stable in a life where nothing else is. This is why Ken becomes alive to Cody almost immediately, not because Cody's stupid, because Ken represents unconditional presence. Ken is always there, Ken always listens, Ken always agrees, Ken never mocks him, and that's the exact context Ken drops into. Ken isn't just a boyfriend in Cody's story. Ken is the first relationship Cody ever has where he doesn't have to manage another person's mood, expectations, judgment, mockery, or rejection. Ken will always love him. So now remove Ken from the timeline. Does Cody become healthier? Not really. He becomes lonelier in a way he can't hide as easily because the need Ken was feeling doesn't disappear. It just stops having a safe place to land. Cody would still be gay, awkward, perceived as weird, and emotionally intense, but now he has no private relationship to retreat into when Junior, Joseph, and other people he knows clown him. He will try harder to connect with them, but it will come out the wrong way, more clingy, more desperate to be taken seriously, and more sensitive when they brush him off. Without Ken, Cody isn't magically normal, he's just more exposed, and he likely copes by grabbing onto anything that can replace the stability Ken represents. That's where Timmy becomes important. Timmy Huckerdoo is the first real person Cody forms a romantic relationship with. He represents what happens when Cody tries to attach to something real. Timmy has feelings, expectations, the ability to leave. In Cody's love triangle, Cody has to choose between Timmy and Ken, but Cody doesn't act messy just because the episode wants drama. Cody acts messy because he can't handle the risk. A real relationship forces Cody to be seen, and being seen is terrifying when you grew up believing love depends on being acceptable and liked. Ken was certainty. Timmy is vulnerability. And I think the SML movie video, Awaken, ties the whole thing together. Cody finally gets what he claims he wants. Ken becomes human. And it collapses the moment Ken has autonomy, because Cody didn't just want Ken alive, he wanted what Ken represents. He wanted a boyfriend that couldn't abandon him and would love him unconditionally, which is something the actual human Ken couldn't do. That's why the replacement with another Ken doll matters so much. It's funny on the surface, but psychologically it's loud. Cody isn't attached to his Ken doll as an individual. He's attached to what Ken represents: permanence, unconditional love, and understanding for someone who feels alone and misunderstood. So here's the real conclusion. If Cody never met Ken, Cody likely becomes more dependent on his friends and family, more emotionally reactive, more desperate in real relationships. He would likely look for the same Ken represents but on something else. And if Ken never existed, the joke disappears, but the insecurity that created it gets a lot louder. Follow me, you want to watch more funny videos like this one.